to call to order the December 12th Community and Emergency Services Committee meeting. Having already said the prayer and the pledge, we have three commissioners present today, forming a quorum. Have you had the opportunity to look over the November 28th?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Do you have any changes to today's agenda?
Not to my knowledge, Madam Chair. Please ready for your approval.
We have no presentation or consent agenda items today, so we'll move directly into the debate agenda from Chief Wallen.
Hello.
Good morning.
The first item is annual payment for training and scheduling with Target Solutions. Software is an online training, tracking tool, content, and our staffing, how we manage our deployment, and all of that day to day. This renewal is, or this annual payment is $36,916. We'll note that this is last year that we portion, so this is going to go down to I think about 11 to 16. We will continue to use them, but this, staff would recommend approval.
And different training.
Yeah, it is connected overall to our software, so it shares information. But our records management added a training module to it, and so they've been testing it, using it, comfortable with it. So we're going to off of that into the other one. It's a little more cost effective, but it's also a package instead of disparate systems.
Second.
So moved. Next.
This item is our annual service agreement with Motorola Solutions for mock alerting. So there's equipment in every fire station, as well as redundant equipment in the 911 center, how they notify the apparatus that they have calls for service. And of course, EMS will be listening on this as well. And staff recommends approval as well as authorizing the chairman.
So the system itself was purchased in 2016. What is the lifespan of that life cycle?
So a part of this, they come in, they maintain everything. So, they actually came in with servers at 911, they replicate, so if one goes down. They actually came in and upgraded all of that, and they just schedule that with us. So outside of damage to equipment like lightning or something like that, it's all included. Maintenance agreement. It's just an annual agreement we redo.
Move to consent.
Second.
So moved. Are there items any legal matters? Staff reports. Back to you, Chief.
Yes, for your information, I have our response summaries and our year-to-date budget report, and I would be glad to.
Any commissioners or public comments or participants? We have no executive items, so we will adjourn and pick back up in just a couple.
Engineering Services Committee meeting for December the 12th. Already having the invocation and pledge. Form, all present.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Johnson.
Things ready for your approval, Mr. Chairman.
Bate. Gordon. First up.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Morning.
I have one item for you to consider today, and this is a encroachment agreement with Georgia Power. Our Uchee Creek Gravity Sewer project is crossing their easement 2 times, and we need to get an agreement with them to be able to cross over their easement. This is something the county has to sign to get approval for that.
All right, Mr. Baxley, you're up next, but take just a minute, kind of introduce yourself. I don't know that all the commissioners formally met you yet, whatever, so if you could kind of give us a little update on who you are, and welcome to the team.
Thank you. I'm Kyle Baxley. I joined the county November 6th of this year, and I'm a 2002 graduate from Georgia Tech. Sorry.
Well, they have very smart people there. We like it.
I've spent 7 years with the Georgia Department of Transportation here in Augusta, out of the area office. I've been out in Missouri, building a statewide bridge improvement project there for a couple of years. Spent 4 years out at Plant Vogel as a field engineer, and then most recently 7 years here in Augusta with a construction company. I have a passion for construction and public service, and I'm happy to be a part of the county.
Titus is deputy. Welcome aboard. Look forward to working with you. Thank you.
The first, yes, sir. First item is a request for a public hearing on the proposed establishment of 2 streetlight districts for Hanover Place and Canton Park Phase 3. These are the first 2 streetlight districts from the revised policy. Staff recommends opening for a public hearing.
All right, the public meeting is now open. Is there anyone to speak Hanover Place or Canton Park Light District? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
All right, the next item is a resolution to establish the streetlight districts we just discussed, Hanover Place and Canton Park Phase 3. Annual utility cost for this is going to be $1474.56. The upfront costs are $7,978. Those are covered by the developers as part of the revised policy. Staff recommends approval of the first 2 readings of resolutions 2357 and 2358. Establish the streetlight districts.
Move to consent. Oh, debate, sorry, debate.
Second.
So moved.
All right.
Subdivision, or do we need?
I think, if you don't mind, let him explain them all at one time, but 3 different votes, because it's 3.
Right.
He can explain it one time, 3 resolutions.
Yes, yeah, and for some reason, if you decided not to approve one,
Okay, thank you.
All right, so the next 3 items are related. They are for the creation of no parking zones in the Bartram Trail subdivision. The first one is Cedar Vale. Resolution 2359. The staff recommends, these are for the no parking zones at the end of the Hammerhead cul-de-sacs, yes, in the Bartram Trail. The staff recommends approval for the no parking zone at Lower Croft Court.
These were all actually condition of zoning. When this neighborhood came through, full commission placed a condition on the zoning that we had to create no parking zones. That was done to allow the fire department to have access to these hammerheads. Vehicle parked in those areas would prevent the fire trucks from having accessibility turning around. So it's 3 hammerheads all in this one subdivision. So you have 3 individual resolutions. Each one is for each hammerhead.
Nothing's started yet. Place
Correct.
before we
Correct.
forward with this.
second,
So moved.
first one.
2359.
Second one is all is
Resolution 2360, Park Drive, I make a motion.
Second.
so moved.
Resolution 2364 for Washington Court,
Second.
So moved.
All right, the next item is an independent contractor agreement with Goodwin Mill Kaywood for green infrastructure improvements at Lakeside Park. This design is related to the 1319 grant the county received for the green infrastructure improvements at Lakeside Park. Engineering services included all the survey, design, and permitting services to deliver the project construction. Project will consist of upgrading and retrofitting the 3 existing bioretention structures and installing 1 new bioretention structure in the parking lot and installing a new permeable pavement trail system. This is funded with the 319 grant for 60% reimbursement of the $75,000 cost. Staff recommends approval of the independent contractor agreement with MC in the amount of $75,000.
Second.
So moved.
Next item is an independent contractor agreement with W&A Engineering for Ray Owens Road at White Oak Road intersection improvement project. Engineering services included all survey, design, and permitting services. Deliver the project to construction. Project consists of realigning the intersection to the south of its current location, designing a roundabout at the new intersection, and lowering roughly 500 linear feet of Ray Owens Road immediately south of the intersection. This is funded out of the 2328 SPLOST. Staff recommends approving the independent contractor agreement with W&A Engineering for $128,500.
Real quick. Approval that. Much, when do we?
After that, as soon as we get our final plans, we'll be out to bid.
Second.
The next item is the adoption of emergency access road typical section and a parking lot layout dimensions details for the engineering division construction standard specifications and details. Staff believes it's critical to keep the construction standard specification details updated to the first extent practical in order to ensure construction standards for the initial and for the installation of the county's critical infrastructure. Staff recommends approving the adoption of the emergency access road typical section and parking lot dimension details.
This is added to the policy we did last year that hadn't been.
That's correct. This emergency access road typical section came about due to some change in the building standards that require neighborhoods to be sprinkled once they get above a certain number of homes, 1 access point to a main road. Developers were asking to have emergency access points, and so we kind of designed them. We'll have a design that's already in place that the fire trucks can get across, get access into the back of neighborhoods without, blown out water line at the main entrance. This will give us access in the rear of it. Not required, but it is an option if they choose.
Second. So moved.
Next item is for the acceptance of the improvements for the Kalari Section 7 subdivision of Baker Place, off of Baker Place Road. Kalari Section 7 subdivision consists of 81 new single-family parcels. Minimum lot, accept improvements to include the road, stormwater, and sewer systems, along with all the right-of-way and easements associated with these improvements specified and depicted on the plat prepared by Cranston Engineering, dated August 21st, 2023. All of the ponds shall remain private and maintained by the homeowners association. Staff recommends acceptance of the improvements of Kalari Section 7 to include the road, stormwater, sewer systems contingent on staff's approval with a 2-year warranty period from the written date of acceptance.
Here, I'll add on this that if you actual deed, 3rd paragraph, there is a typo. That typo has already been corrected and has already been sent to vote on this Tuesday night. It will have the corrected backup deed in it.
Move to consent.
Second.
So moved.
Next item is the acceptance of improvements for Copper Ridge Townhomes Phase 1. Copper Ridge Townhomes is located off of Washington Road, parcel 66041. Request is to accept the improvements of the Copper Ridge Townhomes Phase 1 to include the sanitary sewer and water utility, along with the easements associated with these improvements, as specified and depicted on the plat prepared by Perimeter Surveying, dated November 14th, 2023. All of the roadway infrastructure and stormwater system improvements shall remain private and will be maintained by Copper Ridge Neighborhood Association by deed. Staff recommends acceptance of the improvements of the Copper Ridge Townhomes Phase 1 to include the sanitary sewer and water utility contingent upon staff's approval with a 2-year warranty period from written notice, written acceptance.
So we have requirements, excuse me, there are requirements in our specs for private roads as well, so we don't beat them up quite as bad when they're building something they're gonna maintain, but have specs they're required to follow.
Second.
The next item is for the acceptance of the existing infrastructure and easements for the Wellstar MCG Health Incorporated, located at 325 North Bel Air Road. Columbia County Board of Education sold this property to Wellstar MCG. Water utility requires ownership of the system and easements covering it in order to provide maintenance to the system and service the Wellstar MCG Health at this property. This is contingent upon staff's approval. The staff recommends acceptance of the existing sanitary sewer system, along with the 20-foot sanitary sewer easements as depicted on the easement plat. It's going to have a 1-year warranty as it was an existing infrastructure and it was inherited.
How would this turned over to us when, like we would?
It happens more often than you think. We, the final plat stage, sign off on the final plat, but they never sign the deed. It said on the plat to be deeded,
Oh, okay.
but the deed never gets signed and recorded. We've put things in place to prevent that from now on. In this case, it was Board of Education that built it originally, so they probably didn't have to go through the steps that everybody else does now. But it was on government property at the time, just not our government. So now now that it's been sold to a private entity, facing and maintain it.
The 1-year warranty, that's
Typically, we do 2-year warranties, but because we've been using this, we have our sewage flowing through this line, right, to hit them with a 2-year. We asked them to just 1 year. Sorry. Lost my voice.
move to consent.
Second.
So moved. Legal matters, Mr. Reports.
Yes, sir. I've included the year-to-date budget report and the water and sewer construction reports for your review, and I'm prepared to answer any questions you may have.
B is February now?
Yes, sir.
Solid?
I hope so, because if they go much longer than that, we can't turn it over to them, because we need them to go ahead and finish so we can, have this in operation before we really start our busy season with increasing water usage.
Put pressure on the
It has been difficult. I mean, we have liquidated damages we can assess, but, there are some legitimate reasons they have for extensions. I've asked for it in our last meeting. We meet again tomorrow, but last month I told them I needed all those expected extensions that they have, because I don't have those, and they should be keeping up with them on a monthly basis.
liquidated damages. Make that in a motion.
LDs are already in the contract. So
Yes, that's already a part of the contract. So there are some things there, they are they're working through to get fixed, and they've had some staffing shortages, and we've had some lead times that have taken way longer than expected. So we do know they're due. I just don't, extended time, I just don't know how much until they provide me with that information.
Record, staffing shortage, not our problem, they bid
It's not. Mhm.
deadlines, so I expect to see some
Yes, sir.
mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Construction projects, 7 or 8 full, will they, I guess, or?
Which specific ones are you asking about?
Well, I was just going down. Gate, pumping station.
And actually, Sugar Creek, we've just scheduled it. I can take it off hold. We just scheduled it for bid on January 11th. The Wingate, we're working on a brick grant, and I'm kind of holding off on that because I can use the Wingate as part of my matching funds if we were to get a grant. So I was trying to see what happens with it. Jones Creek, I kind of put it on hold because we're trying to figure out what we're going to do with some of our plants along with the recommendations of the master plan. So it's not, I don't think it's quite as needed if we're going to expand, if we decide to expand Reed Creek. So we just need to decide what we're going to do moving forward. So we're kind of making decisions on future with it.
We are looking at alternative funding sources for water utility as well, so that'll be coming to the board first of the year. Some of these projects and others will come off a hold when we get these alternative funding sources.
For a report on the road paving, talked about that.
Did get it from Kyle on, Friday, or last, we did get it. I did ask for some changes to it to make it easier for you to read. Kyle is off at training today, so I'll try to have it sent out to y'all as soon as he gets back. I think he's back today. I know he's been working on an updated version, so as soon as he comes back, we'll email it out, and then it'll be in the next committee agenda.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it either.
Too complicated for y'all to, we could decipher. But
I'm not offended, keep going. I get it.
I'll talk
I get it.
slower. It was a complicated spreadsheet. It was tough to follow.
This is perfect.
Yeah.
Commissioner or public comments? Turned at 10:02.